What is one simple repair that can save people money immediately?
Patching a hole in the wall.
Welcome to Fireside Talks, where we help bring you from survival to stability.
Through skills, support, and the hope of Jesus Christ.
Welcome back to Fireside Talks and our month on home hacks. This week we are doing home fixes and first aid. We are going to use Proverbs 27:12 as our guidance this week, and it says, "The prudent sees danger and hides himself, but the simple go on and suffer for it." We're going to focus on that first half, the prudent see danger and hide himself. So being aware of your surroundings. And so what small home issue or injury did you ignore that turned into a bigger problem later?
I think of our home in Illinois. And there was always kind of like that, after heavy rain or something up in the attic, and you'd be like, is that wet? No, I don't think that's wet. Is there water coming in? No, I don't think so. Maybe. And then just never going any further. And then remember, before we sold it, we had to have both of the dormer windows on either end rebuilt.
Oh, yeah.
Because they got wet and the wood rotted.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hate water damage stuff. Yeah. Okay. So why do you think so many people avoid learning basic home or first aid skills?
I think a lot of it is convenience.
Yeah.
For the most part, we weren't way out in the middle of nowhere growing up, but we were out in the country. Mm-hmm. So there was, it was harder to get people to come out to our house and do work. We could, and if we called an ambulance, it took longer. We were further from the hospital. So you just kind of learn some of that stuff when it's not so convenient.
Right.
But I think a lot of it being in town, it's easy.
Sure. Yeah. So when you hear being prepared, what comes to mind?
All of those prepper TV shows where people have 9,000 eggs in their basement.
9,000 eggs.
And 70 gallons of water.
Okay. What are some basic home fixes that everyone should know and some don't?
How to fix a hole in the wall. Just as simple, because, we haven't done it yet. But you're moving a couch and you bust a hole in the wall. Or simple as I took down a pitcher and now there's a hole.
Got a lot of that going on.
Right now, yeah. But I think patching a hole in the wall is probably the one thing that a lot of people don't know how to do, but they should.
Yeah. Okay. What is one simple repair that can save people money immediately?
Patching a hole in the wall.
What would you do if you didn't know how to patch a hole?
I think a simple repair, not simple maintenance, a simple repair that people can do right away is learn how to fix a screen.
Oh.
Because it's actually a lot more expensive than it should be to fix a screen. And you can go buy the tools, the parts, and all the materials needed to replace a screen in your house for I bet you 1/10 of the cost of what it costs to have someone fix your screen.
Right. And on the flip side, you can now open your door and have fresh air moving and no bugs.
Sure.
So it can save you money on electricity too.
Right.
So, okay. And how does being unprepared at home create stress and chaos? Kind of going along the lines of what we were talking about last week.
We talked about it, and I don't remember why or what episode or what podcast we talked about it in. But we talked about the idea of being prepared for just some of the little things like, hey, I've got enough food in the pantry to make it through the snowstorm. Mm-hmm. I think it's one of those inevitably this is going to happen. So why don't we just have a few things on hand to take care of it? Whatever that situation might be. Obviously, if you live in an apartment or a rental or something like that, your furnace goes out It's not necessarily your problem. It's the landlord's.
Okay.
But if you own your home, maybe even it's simple stuff like we've been fortunate here in this house, but like thermal couplings are something that go bad all the time on furnaces, and then the pilot light won't stay lit, and so it won't run.
Okay.
It's like a $7 part. It wouldn't be a horrible idea to just have one for what it costs.
Sure.
And I mean, it's not like it's something that goes out every year, but you know, if a thermocouple goes out every 10 years, like that doesn't surprise me.
Okay. So what is the most DIY gone wrong story that you've experienced or seen?
You know, I'm trying to think, like, because we've tackled a lot of interesting projects.
Yeah.
I know there's some I regret trying to do, but I don't know if they went wrong.
Sure. Have you seen someone else do one?
And
it's gone wrong.
Other than like crazy stuff on TV, I'm kind of drawing a blank. Because like even if it's gone wrong, well maybe then I had to hire somebody to come fix it because I couldn't. And there's certain things that I just know I won't tackle.
Yeah, some electrical stuff.
Yeah, I won't do electrical. Yeah, I'm struggling to think of a real like gone wrong situation.
Okay. So if someone had zero experience, think me.
Yep.
Where should they start with home maintenance?
Changing your furnace filter.
Okay. Why?
Well, because it not only is it going to save you an energy cost because your home is heating and cooling easier and more efficiently, but it reduces a lot of the wear and tear on your furnace.
And how often should those be replaced?
Depends. It really depends on the type of furnace and the type of filter you have. Some are going to say every 30 days. I think the one we have right now says every 3 months or 6 months.
Where do you find that?
Down on your furnace.
Oh, it says it directly on your furnace.
Yeah, there's a slot right in your furnace where it'll
No
be.
losing manuals and forgetting.
No, it shouldn't
It's
be.
right on there.
Should be.
Back to those manuals.
I don't know. I guess usually you can see it.
Okay. Okay. So what are 3 tools that every household should own?
Crescent wrench, screwdriver, and probably a drill. Because you can use that as like a screwdriver or a drill with bits.
Okay. What's an easy fix people are intimidated by, but it's really not that hard?
Changing a faucet.
That would be intimidating because you're going to get sprayed with water.
Not if you shut the water off.
Right? But how do you shut the water off?
There's usually a valve right down there at the bottom of the sink.
Okay.
Under the sink in the cupboard. But changing a furnace, the hardest part of changing a furnace is reaching it.
Furnace or faucet?
I'm sorry, I wouldn't change a furnace. Faucet.
Okay.
The hardest part of changing a faucet is reaching it. Like, because it's back up under the sink and it's just difficult to reach. But, I mean, it's like 4 bolts and you're done. And you know what? Even if you put the water lines on wrong, all you're going to do is turn your handle the other way to get hot water.
Okay.
Like, it's really a no-lose situation.
I mean, you could get leaks if you don't have things on tight
Sure,
enough.
but you should catch that. I mean, if you're putting in a new faucet, you should turn the water back on and sit there for a minute and see. And be like, oh, it's leaking. Shut it off and let me tighten that more.
Okay. Which one of those tools would we need for that?
Probably the crescent wrench would be your go-to.
Okay.
On something like that.
All right. How do you know when to DIY or call for help? How do you know which one to do?
That's your comfort level.
Okay.
So, like, I'm not scared to do some plumbing. I'm not scared to patch a hole in the wall. I'm not scared to, like, install a ceiling fan or a light switch or a light socket, or, an outlet. But, like, for me personally, as soon as I have to go into the breaker box, I'm done. I won't touch it.
He also won't fix my dryer.
Yeah, I don't like working on appliances either.
I've made him, but
I've done it, but I don't like working on appliances. But there's certain things like I'm not like personally, and I know it's not that hard to do. I shouldn't say hard. It's not that technical, but like I wouldn't reshingle a home. I would pay someone to reshingle my house.
sure, just because it's so maintenance heavy. I mean, that takes a long time.
And these guys that are roofers that do it all the time, like a house our size, they could probably have the whole thing done in a day.
We have repaired shingles, though.
Yep. But like, I wouldn't roof. I wouldn't change a furnace. I won't touch anything in the electrical box, inside the breaker box. I just have certain things that I'm just not comfortable doing, and I won't do it.
Okay. Quick tips. How do you unclog a drain?
Depends on the drain and what it's clogged with.
Okay, typically a drain is, like, if you think of a bathroom drain, that's probably the drain that gets clogged the most, right? And it's usually clogged with hair. So, how do you unclog it?
Just reach in and get it.
Right.
And if not, those little wire things, and they've got the button on the end, and it makes the meh thing.
Like the little claw?
Yeah, you can use those to reach down in a drain and grab stuff. So, or they make a drain snake where you can stick it down in the drain, and it's got like a little hook deal on the end, and you spin it around a little bit, and you can pull it out.
Okay. Yeah, most of the time ours is, once you take the little plug out, you can usually
Just
get it
grab
all
it.
out. Yeah. Okay. Resetting a breaker.
Go to the breaker box and figure out which one looks different. And then just flip it back so it looks the same as the others.
Okay. And patching a small hole in the wall. We talked about that a little bit, so how do we go about that?
If it's just like a little hole in the wall from like a nail or something like that, just a little bit of that putty on your finger and you can do it. Now, like, let's say it was a big hole, then there's more to it. Like, you got to get that screen tape stuff and put that in there and put the plaster over and sand it and all that stuff. But a small hole is easy.
Okay. You do need to make sure it's smooth or sand it down once it's dry.
Yeah.
Okay. What are the top 3 first aid skills every adult should know? This one's difficult for him to talk about because if you've been following along, Pat's history, or what do I want to say? What's the word I want to use? Past. Is in EMS. So he was a paramedic. He was a paramedic teacher. So that's a lot of what he is for 15 years. So So to know 3 basic things, I'll try and keep him down to a...
Right. Like the one thing we always taught in EMT class, the simplest thing that you do with every single person you walk up to in an emergency is you need to stop the bleeding and start the breathing.
Okay.
So basic wound care, and I think CPR.
Okay. Everyone should know CPR.
I think so.
Okay.
Even if it's just the hands-only CPR, that's going to make a dramatic impact on someone that's in cardiac arrest.
Now, that's only 2 things. So would you only say 2?
Those would be my first 2.
Those are 2 big ones. So basic wound care.
Yep.
He does not put on a Band-Aid well. So what do you mean by wound care?
So it depends. Like, is it a cut on my finger where I need a Band-Aid? Or, like, did I really cut myself and I need to worry about pressure and bandaging and,
So the knowledge of being able to know the difference.
Sure.
Okay.
Right.
What should be in a basic first aid home kit?
Normal Band-Aids, tweezers, nitrile gloves, and I'm going to miss things, but Band-Aids, tweezers, nitrile gloves, dressing and gauze, dressings and bandages of some kind. I really believe everyone should have a tourniquet in their home.
Alcohol wipes.
Yeah, alcohol wipes. And then you could get into like the Benadryls and Tylenol and
burn relief.
Yeah, burn creams and antidiarrheals and stuff like that. But I think at its most basic, and then I would have some kind of barrier for CPR. But I think at its most basic, it's going to be Band-Aids, tweezers, dressings and bandages, gloves, and then actually, honestly, a good pair of, they call them trauma shears, the scissors, the medical scissors.
If someone's really hurt, then you can cut their clothing
Yep.
off. Especially if you have kids and they scrape their knees and you don't know if something's broken, if you can just cut the pants off up to their thigh so you can just get them out of the way. Okay. Now that we have everyone scared.
Right.
How do people tend to panic in emergencies and how can they stay calm?
So I think the biggest thing to remember is, and we used to teach our new paramedics. Everybody freaks out and they just try to move so fast. And we always taught that slow is smooth and smooth is fast. So if you just slow down, I don't care if you're going 1,000,000 miles an hour inside, as long as you slow down, you're going to be more effective.
Okay. And not only that, like if you are helping someone and administering the first aid, if you're hyped up and anxious and hyper, then the person's going to get worried.
Yeah.
So
100%.
it's important that you pause and take that deep breath to calm yourself so that you can calm them.
Right.
So I know this is a pet peeve of yours. What is one big first aid myth that people still believe today?
People can swallow their tongue when they have a seizure.
Oh.
You can bite your tongue, but don't ever put anything in anyone's mouth when they're having a seizure. That's a horrible decision. Rub some dirt on it. Come on, that's a bad idea. Don't rub dirt on it, ever. But, that's one that I've heard. That's the first one that comes to mind. I'm trying to think of other myths. Maybe you know a myth that I'm unaware of.
No, I know that you hate it when people twist things and they are absolutely positive that this is the way it needs to go.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, don't ever do that.
Don't ever do that, please.
I feel like there was something with burns not too long ago. Like covering a burn or something.
99% of the time, we should never put anything on a burn. And I say that like, I heard wives' tales of putting butter on it. Like, what a horrible decision. Don't ever do that.
Yeah.
There's specific burn creams and gels and stuff that are fine. And I'm talking like a real deep burn, not a sunburn.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to ask you this question, but I'm going to ask that you keep it short because we only have 30 minutes. Okay. What is a time that you had to step in an emergency situation?
So for about 15 years, I would do it between 800 and 1,000 times a year.
What was there? Okay, let's ask this. Was there a time that you weren't at work that you had to step in on an emergency situation?
Well, the one where I got that life-saving award, which we won't go into because that's a long story. And that's a weird question because especially back in Illinois where I was a paramedic and a fireman for so long, if I stepped into a emergency situation when I wasn't at work, it would often turn into work.
Yeah. So let's talk about the time when our son couldn't breathe.
Okay.
What did you do? What did you notice and why?
Well, I heard that it woke me up.
I want to pause there. It woke him up that our son was not breathing. If he was screaming and crying, it would not wake him up. So
but he had
continue.
He had that seal bark cough. That's what woke me up.
Okay.
So he had real bad croup. With croup, one of the things that can cause relief right away is cold air. And of course, croup for infants, it's normal to happen during the wintertime. It's just a viral thing that happens. And we called 911 because he wasn't breathing well. But I remember walking out onto the front patio with him in the cold night air, and that started helping. And And I know when, of course, the fire chief or the fire department showed up, which I was the assistant chief of at the time, and he said, what do you need? And I really thought we were going to have to start helping him breathe just a little bit. But we were able to get past that pretty quick.
Just by being out in the cold air.
Yep.
So I called 911. He went and grabbed him, walked outside with him, so we could have that relief at least until emergency medicine could get there.
Yeah.
So, okay. Moving on to something a little lighter.
Okay.
How does being prepared reflect wisdom in everyday life?
So not every misfortune or accident or inconvenience needs to be a disaster. We've talked about cars, we've talked about houses, we've talked about first aid. Like, if I'm just a little bit prepared, a flat tire, it's a pretty big inconvenience, but it's not a big deal. I can take care of it.
Yeah.
If I cut myself, it's probably not that big of it. It's an inconvenience. It's no fun, but I can probably take care of it. I poke a hole in the, put a hole in the wall because I'm moving a couch. I don't want to deal with it, but I can. So just having some of that knowledge and tools and things on hand, it's just going to make things that are they're going to take things from being a disaster to becoming an inconvenience.
Okay. So in what ways can being prepared be an act of stewardship?
I think it's just taking care of what we have, right? Because we're called to be a good steward and care for everything that God's given us. So just being prepared, and everything God's given us includes our bank accounts. It is a lot cheaper for me to change my own tire and then have the spare, drive my car to a tire shop and plug a hole than it is to call a tow truck. We went from, I think around here it's right around $20 or $25 to have a hole plugged in your tire, and the tire shop will fix it. I bet you, I'm trying to think, it's only, what, 1.5 miles, 2 miles to that tire shop on Minnesota Avenue. I bet it'd be $110 to have it towed there.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing. I don't know. But something like that. Do you know what it would cost me to have a drywall guy come in here and fix a hole?
Yeah.
It'd be hundreds of dollars. Where probably it was only $30 in supplies.
Right. Yeah. How can we balance trusting God while still taking responsibility to be ready?
So you've heard me tell this story a bazillion times about the guy that's stuck in a flood.
I have, but they may not.
Right. So this guy's stuck in a flood, and I think this falls right into that, where we trust God, but we're prepared at the same time. So this guy gets stuck in a flood, or there's a flood coming, not like Noah, but like, a seasonal flood. And the fire department comes, and they're like, hey, you need to get out, it's going to flood. And he's like, no, God's got me. I'm fine. God will protect me. And then the waters come up, and he can't get out of his house now. And the fire department comes in a boat, and they're like, hey, get in the boat. We're here to rescue you. Let's get out of here. And he's like, no, God's got me. God will protect me. I'm fine. And then the waters keep coming up, and now he's on his roof, and the Coast Guard comes with a helicopter, and they drop a basket, and they're like, get in the basket, and we'll get you to safety. And he's like, no, God will protect me. God's got it. I'm fine. I'm not going. Water keeps rising, sweeps away, and he drowns and dies. So he gets to heaven, and he looks at God, and he's like, why didn't you save me? I trust that you'll protect me. Why didn't you save me? And God looks at him. He's like, I sent the fire department, I sent a boat, and I sent a helicopter. You just never listened to me. So I think that's yes, God will protect us, but it's not like a one-way street. Like, we have to be in this together. So God's going to protect me, but I also have to do a few things for myself.
So we're trusting the boat or the fire department, the boat, the airplane. So we need to listen to one of those. So you said sometimes you need to do stuff yourself.
Right.
Which I don't really like that wording. But sometimes you need to trust that God puts other people in your life that you need to trust.
It's a lot of trust.
And I want to say that we are moving out of our house right now. And everyone keeps asking us, oh, where are you moving?
I don't know.
We don't know. So, like, we are trusting God big time that in the time, He's going to provide that for us.
But at the very same time, where are you going to go? I don't know. I don't know where we're going to go. But I do know that I have these things in place and we're not going to live in the car. So I'm trusting God that we're going to make it to where He wants us to be. But at the same time, I already have these things and I know we're not going to be homeless.
Right.
So there's hundreds of people that make YouTube videos that really enjoy full-time RVing. Well, we'll move into our camper for a minute. Like, so we're still providing security and stability and stuff for our kids and our family, but we have a lot of unknowns. And I feel like those are us walking with God, saying, I know you have a plan here. In the meantime, though, I did take a few steps to make sure I'm not homeless.
Right. Yeah. Which He will know for sure if we have a plan. But
yeah,
we can talk about that a little bit at the
right.
end. Okay. So what's one small step listeners can take this week to be more prepared?
Go buy a flashlight.
And batteries.
Yes. You're going to lose power. Plain and simple. It will happen at some point. Go buy a flashlight. Or a package of candles. But just something for that power outage.
Okay.
Or, I got a flat tire in the dark. Now I have a flashlight. Right. Go buy a flashlight. That's the simplest thing I think you can do to be prepared.
Okay, if someone feels overwhelmed with all of the information that we've just given them, where should they start?
Go buy a flashlight.
A flashlight and sign up for a CPR class.
Right. Go buy a flashlight, sign up for CPR, and get a Crescent wrench. And everything else will be fine. And
I do have to say that if you sign up for a CPR class, most of the time they're first aid and CPR. So you'll learn those basics of first aid as well. Those wound bandage.
Don't say that.
Oh, I guess.
That's the way I teach it when I teach a CPR class. I do first aid and CPR.
Sure. There has been CPR classes that I've taken online that are just compressions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but there's a lot of CPR first aid options out there.
Yeah. It'd be worth it. Okay. Finish this sentence. Being prepared is wise because...
I have a flashlight. No.
Being prepared is wise because...
disaster will strike. And don't think, when I say the word disaster, I think don't think earthquake, tornado, torrential floods, horrible natural disaster. A disaster is different for everyone.
Sure. Yeah.
You could lose a job and you might have to go a week or two without a paycheck. Mm-hmm. Be prepared. That's wise. You'll get a flat tire at some point in your life. Know how to change it. Be prepared. That's wise. You're going to lose power. Buy a flashlight. Okay. I like flashlights.
Okay. Preparation isn't about fear. It's about peace. And when you're ready, you're free to respond instead of react.
I like that. That's a good quote. Did you write that?
No.
I know.
But it's important to remember. Wraps it up nicely.
Right. I like the idea of react. Or respond instead of react.
Because then you're thinking with your brain.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. And reacting as emotion.
All right. So now that we wrap up our home hacks month of, what month are we in? April?
think so.
If you have any other questions about any kind of home hacks, we went through organizational tips and cleaning tips. We went through car hacks. We went through home maintenance and first aid. And I'm missing one.
Yeah, you are, and I can't remember it either. That's okay.
Cooking?
Yeah. Lasagna. We talked a lot about lasagna.
Cooking hacks and tacos.
And tacos. Correct.
So if you have any questions regarding those, feel free to comment and maybe we can circle around and answer those.
Right. And I still don't like spaghetti.
Oh, goodness. I'm not positive what we are moving into next month, but we will let you know. I'm hoping to get an interview on the calendar.
Podcast or our home.
What?
You're not positive what we're moving into.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was a good one.
So, we are moving out of our house, and we are hoping to be moving out by the end of April, which by the time this airs is only a few more days.
Yep.
Which I have a feeling it might be pushed a little bit, couple weeks.
All the birthday parties got in the way.
Yeah, maybe 1 week into May. But we had an interview out at the Palisades State Park in Crescent, South Dakota. It went well, so we're hoping to hear back from them on Monday when this airs and have a more definitive answer on that, which would be amazing for us. So we would move into our family of 7 into a camper for the summer for May through probably October-ish. So that's a good 6 to 7 months rent-free while we're trying to sell our home and trying to find land to move the mission and plant the mission on. So be praying for us as that all unfolds. And it's amazing because we're like, you know what? We're just going to start cleaning the house, packing things up, putting things in storage, and then somebody mentioned, hey, you should do a campground host. And we're like, sure, why not apply? We'll see what happens. And now we have possibly a rent-free for 6 to 7 months.
Yeah.
So that's awesome how God works, right? He sent us a boat.
Right.
So please like and subscribe and follow along as things are starting to move with Fireside. We definitely want to keep you all updated. Go to our website, firesidecommunity.org. We have all of our podcasts are listed on there. You can find them by topic. We have our merch on there, which Fireside gets 100% of the proceeds to. And then you can also find our giving page if you would like to support us as we are getting things moving. So, yeah, anything to add?
I can't think of nothing.
All right, we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.